Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden. And today I'm in the backyard harvesting these beautiful Dutch iris, and then we are headed in to start a whole new round of cut flower seeds. I actually recorded this video a few days ago, but did not realize that my microphone was not working at the time. So there will be some voiceovers during this video, but I am outside harvesting these beautiful purple Dutch iris. I planted these a couple of seasons ago. I will say they produce a lot of blooms, which has been wonderful, but I will say I have less and less bulbs come back each year, which is something to consider. I did buy a whole bunch of these recently from Aldi's for like literally 20 bulbs for $2.50, which is absolutely amazing. And I am going to pot up some of these bulbs in containers. I think it'll be really nice. But this Dutch iris is so beautiful and so unique, and it's such a fun color to have in your garden. Okay, so like I said, I actually filmed the original video a few days ago, but only recently discovered that my microphone was not working during it. So you'll see me in a couple of different outfits as we're going through it. So today I'm going to start a new round of cut flower seeds. I was feeling kind of guilty, like I am, behind on starting seeds and getting stuff done in my garden. And then I started to rethink things for myself. My garden is supposed to be something joyful and peaceful for me, and feeling like I'm kind of keeping up with the Joneses kind of situation with gardening is not the way I want to approach gardening. It's one of the big reasons I'm not pumping out a video every single day. I'm taking more time on my videos and making the videos that I want. But lately I felt like I don't feel inspired to get going. I feel like I'm dragging a lot. And I think that has a lot to do with, I've got a lot of family things going on. My kids are super busy. My husband and I are super busy, and we're just tired. And it's just a tiring time of year. And so I haven't felt super inspired. So in order to kind of pump myself up and get going, I thought I would start with something simple like the seeds. And that's what I want to encourage you all to do. If you feel like you're lagging and you don't feel inspired to get out the garden, try something simple to start off with. If you feel like you're behind and everybody else is getting all their stuff, forget about them. Choose something small and simple to start off with, a task that you can be successful in fairly quickly and that'll allow you to feel the progress towards your goals. Okay, so let's talk about this next round of cut flowers I'm starting. Now, there's a reason I don't start all my cut flowers at the same time. First of all, I don't have the space. Secondly, I find that very overwhelming. And third, I like to layer in my blooms. I don't want everything blooming at the same time. So today we're going to focus on 3 different varieties: Saponaria, Gomphrena, and Cosmos. Now let's talk about a tried and true in the garden, and that's Cosmos. Now Cosmos can be a wide variety of heights, anywhere from 24 inches up to like 40 inches. They can get really tall. They come in your traditional colors of whites, pinks, some peaches, darker pinks, that kind of variety. They are have a fluttery, very ethereal quality to the flowers, and I actually really like the greenery, which tends to be very lacy looking. They can be a little bit difficult to harvest over time because they become tangled up. and they are delicate, so the stems can break fairly easily. Cosmos are a big butterfly magnet. One of the things I love about them is I can walk out there at any point in time and there's always pollinators all over them. So this year I'm going to be starting 3 different varieties. They are in a range of heights, but they all take a similar amount of time to bloom, anywhere from 75 to 100 days to bloom. The first variety is called Cupcakes White, and it's about 40 to 50 inches tall, and it's just a beautiful kind of traditional white color with a very kind of ruffled textured petal. Secondly is the pink version of that, Cupcakes Blush, and it's about the same height, 40 to 50 inches. It just has a really subtle blush color. I feel like this blush color lends itself a little bit more purple tone, just in case you're planning for arrangements. Less towards the red pinks, more towards kind of the lavender purpley pink tones. And the last variety I'm starting is Zenzia, and this one is only about 24 to 28 inches tall. However, it's very prolific, and it is kind of like a reddish magenta pink fuchsia kind of color, but a little more softer and subtle, and it's beautiful. Its petals are a little bit more of a traditional Cosmo petal. The next variety of flowers I'm going to be starting is Gomphrena. Now, Gomphrena I've grown in my garden a couple of times. I've grown a few varieties, specifically Purple Globe and Pink Truffula by Proven Winners. Was not a fan of the Truffula. I didn't like the smell, and I didn't like the overall look of the bloom. It was a little too tropical looking for me. However, I really like the Purple Globe, and the Purple Globe has actually reseeded itself readily throughout my garden, and which at first I was a little overwhelmed by, but then I realized that you can very easily transplant those seedlings in different places. And that once I figured that out, it was great because I can move them around wherever I wanted. So maybe doing a couple of varieties this year. Both of these are about 18 to 28 inches tall, and they're about 85 to 100 days to blooming time. Couple of things about Gomphrena: they're an excellent dried flower. I find their stems somewhat awkward because they tend to have a straight stem and then the bloom part comes off at an angle. So they're a little bit awkward to arrange with. Speaking of drying, this is one of the it's kind of fallen apart, but this is one of the little mini bouquets that I made last year of all Gomphrena. Super fun, super cute, and it dries beautifully and retains a lot of the color, which is really nice. These are great pollinators as well. Pollinators tend to be all over them, and these are very heat and drought resistant, which I love that for them in my particular area. These are typically going at the worst times of the year when it's at our hottest and driest point of the summer. The 2 varieties I'm going to be starting, the first is a Raspberry Cream, and it's just a really soft kind of pink creamy color. I feel like all of these kind of look like a little bit like strawberries, the shape of the blooms, but this one should be absolutely beautiful. And then I'm also doing Audrey White, which is a traditional white tone, and I've been wanting to grow a few more white blooms in my garden. I don't typically like to grow a lot of white blooms because they bruise easily. They don't stand up over time, but a Gomphrena absolutely will. And then the last varieties I'm going to be starting today, and this is new to me, one is Saponaria. These are about 24 to 34 inches tall. They are 55 to 65 days, and they prefer cooler summers. So this is definitely something you want to start earlier in your spring, and you're going to be harvesting them before we get to the hottest parts of the summer. The Saponaria are not cut and come again. So if you're wanting them over multiple months or multiple weeks, you need to sow them in succession. I will not be sowing them in succession. This is my first year with them. I'm just going to try them out, one basic setup, see how it goes, and then kind of gauge how they do at different points with the temperatures I have. Now, I should have told you all of these plants require full sun, pretty adequate drainage, and they're all going to need consistent water, but not oversaturation. The first variety is White Beauty, and Saponaria, I'm kind of looking at it as a filler flower. It's kind of like a baby's breath approach, but a little more interesting than traditional baby's breath. So the white is a really fun option to have. And the other variety is the Pink Beauty. So it's just the pink version of the white. Once again, I think this is going to be a really fun filler flower to kind of play with, and I'll be excited to show you all how it goes with these this year. Okay, from this point on for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and do voiceover on all the video that I'd already recorded. One of the bonus things about this happening is that The seeds that I've already started, a bunch of them have already germinated. So I'll be able to show you that today as well at the end of the video. So I'm starting out with just my Amazon soil mat, and that is located in my Amazon storefront. That link is in the description below. And my Jiffy seed starting mix. I utilize this mix because it's readily available at Home Depot. And I basically just mix in water until all the soil kind of clumps and holds together as one, and I just mix it up as well as I can. And then once I can make a fistful of it and it sticks together, we are good to go. Working with a new variety of seed starting cells, which I know y'all are like, what again? Well, I'm always looking for something cost effective, and I'm always trying different things to see what I think works best for myself, but also give you guys some ideas. So these come with a basic set of 12 cells, and then they have their own little container that they fit in, and then they each have their own humidity dome. And I like this set of 12 cells because I don't make a lot of any one particular plant at a time. So I like to start in smaller groups. That way I can have like seeds together that need similar conditions instead of having a tray of 50, 75, or 100 seedlings all together. So I'm just lightly packing the soil into the containers. I don't want to make the soil too firm in these soil cells because it'll make it more difficult for the roots. And the point is for the roots to be able to grow very easily through the soil. So I just gently push it down with my fingers and then do another layer on top, and easy peasy, that's all done. So these Amazon seed starting kits, they also came with a little scoop, a little dauber, and a little bitty spade to easily get the plants out once they have grown. It also comes with the little dial to go on the top of the humidity domes. That's not super important to me. I actually don't turn that dial very often. I use it closed, and then once my seeds have sprouted, I remove the dome anyway. But everything seems like really nice, sturdy plastic, and that it could last for multiple seasons. If you're interested in checking these out, they are listed in my Amazon storefront in the description below. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the Saponaria, and y'all know I like to use a chopstick for my seed planting, and I'm just doing about 1/8 of an inch deep in the top of each of these cells. Saponaria wants to be planted about 1/8 of an inch deep, and it does say cover lightly. The seeds are kind of just little black orbs. They're about the color of the soil, so it's a little bit difficult, but I am going to go ahead and start 2 to 3 seeds in each of these cells, lightly cover them, and then we should be good to go. Now I am going to add a little bit of water, about 1/2 inch of water, to the bottom of the green portion of the tray, and then set the seedlings inside it just so that I can make sure that it's nice and moist inside. And then of course I'll top it with a humidity dome, making sure that the vent is closed. Now, Gomphrena is planted at about the same depth, about 1/8 of an inch deep, and just using my chopstick to make the holes. I will say that Gomphrena seeds are very light and airy, almost look like straw, and so they're kind of hard to work with because they all stick together. But very carefully, I'm going to put 2 to 3 seeds in each of the cells and then lightly cover them with soil. Once again, I'm adding about 1/2 an inch of water to the bottom of the green container and placing the seed cells in there just to make sure it stays nice and moist. And then I will top it with a humidity dome, making sure that the vent is closed. And then last but not least, I'll be planting up the cosmos. They are also about 1/8 of an inch deep, and their seeds are kind of long, elongated, almost like very, very tiny bean pods, which is pretty cool. And once again, I'll put 2 to 3 seeds in each of them. I'll just thin them out in the future if all of them sprout, but I like to be sure that I've got every cell filled. Now, each of these seeds needs about 70 degrees for the soil to be about 70 degrees for them to germinate. So I do have them on heat pads. And then once they sprout, I'll lift them higher up towards the light. I hope to add more shelves to these just now that I've figured out the shelves are too far away from the light, but we'll add more of those in the future. But now I can actually show you an update since it's been a few days. Okay, so we actually already have a lot coming up. Gomphrena is coming up, so I'm actually going to just go ahead and lift the lid and leave it off. Gomphrena is looking really good. It looks like we had 100% germination. Here's some more Gomphrena all coming up. Once again, looks like 100% germination. Here's some cosmos coming up. It looks like almost 100% germination. Looking really good. Yeah, I think that maybe back here this guy is trying to come up because the soil is pushed up, so we'll just give him a little bit longer. The Saponaria are not germinated yet, but they are a little bit longer than the other ones. And then we do have cosmos over here that are germinated as well. Everybody's looking really good, and I'll leave that off too. Once at least 50% of your seeds are germinated, I like to remove the humidity domes so that we don't deal with any kind of additional stress on them. But I had all of these on a heat mat. The cosmos and the Gomphrena took 3 days to germinate on the heat mat. And we are still going on the Saponaria, and I'll try to post an update on all of these once they get going. All right, you all, I hope you enjoyed today's video, watching me harvest these beautiful iris, and then also watching me start these 3 new varieties of flowers, the Gomphrena, the cosmos, and the Saponaria. I'm really excited to see how they do in my particular area. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when my latest videos are up, and make sure you check me out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.